Description of a very well known personality who is a devotee of the Supreme Lord, Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan. So, who do you think it could be? Maybe I should say Vali. Alright, let's stick to Hanumanji. Okay, so everyone knows Hanumanji. You've heard about him. Is there somebody who's never heard about Shri Hanumanji? Please raise up your hands. So, we know who Hanumanji is. Hanumanji is the son of Vanarraj, Kesari Maharaj, and his mother is Anjana Devi. So when he was young, as a child, he found out a way to get a lot of benedictions from the Devatas. So he became quite powerful, and that stayed with him throughout his life. All of those benedictions stayed with him throughout his life. When he was a young man, he had the fortune of bringing his good friend Sugriva, who was a king in exile. So he brought him in the association of Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman. At that point of time, Lord Rama expressed that he needed help in finding his wife Sita. So Lord Ram had found out from Giddharaj, the king of birds, Pakshiraj, Sri Jatayu Dev, that Sita had been kidnapped by Ravan. And Ravan had taken Sita to his kingdom and his city of Lanka. So Lord Ramchandra wanted to get more information, more data about the position. In those days he did not have satellites, so he wanted to know exactly where Lanka was. So Hanumanji decided to become the first, for Lord Ramchandra's service, he became the first living geostationary satellite. He projected himself into space. And he moved in that zone of space where in today's times we put in the satellites, the lower orbit. So that is the airways that he was flying through. Hence everyone was amazed, because there were only a few people who could do that. One of them was the bird carrier of Lord Vishnu, Garuda Dev. Only Garuda Dev could fly through those airways. And then there is Hanumanji. So that time, his feet it was telecast on or it was streamed on all the local channels. Hanumanji. That is how we know about it. Like today, we watch the Ramayana serial on the television or on our screens, isn't it? So the script and the event was documented by Valmiki Muni. Now Hanumanji was, from our perspective, he was a sixth generation plane. He had that, so stealth plane. So the radar system that was there in Lanka could not detect Hanumanji coming in. No one could detect. So then he landed in Lanka. He went about. So no one asked him for his any kind of ID. Otherwise, he would have to produce some ID, right? No identification was asked of him. So he very comfortably gelled into the crowd in Lanka. And finally he found out where Sita is. Where do you think Sita was? Ashok Vatika. The famous garden where even the Devatas do not have access. They would want to have access. But it is for members only. So, and only Ravan would give memberships. It was Ravan's private garden, Ashok Vatika. He had kept Sita in an open prison. Sita was like a prisoner in Ashok Vatika. Hanumanji found Sita there. So he introduced himself to Sita. Then he offered Sita a one-way flight back to Lord Ram. They said, I can bring you back to Lord Ram. Sita felt that that would not be appropriate because people like King Ravan, they need to understand that in human interactions, you should always, wherever possible and wherever needed, you should always seek permission in certain affairs. Especially in terms of interpersonal relationships, it is very, very important to respect the other person's right of expression and right of opinion. Ravan had been taught all of that at school, but he felt that he was beyond. He was beyond such civilized behavior. So this Sita, through very, very cleverly, let us say, she spoke chosen words of great intellect to explain to Hanumanji that although she does not have any intention of spending even a moment in Lanka without Lord Ram. However, Lord Ram has to come here and sort out Ravan first of all, so that the rest of humanity does not have to suffer at the hands of Ravan. So this is the greatness of Mother Sita. And today we are not going to elaborate on that much. We want to reach to a particular place in this description and expound on that. So going forward, Hanumanji, he assured Sita that he would be gone, he would be back in a jiffy along with Lord Ram. He said, they're already just right across the ocean, and I am the least capable of all of Lord Ram's servants. So if I could jump across, Mother Sita, very soon everyone will jump across and we'll bring Lord Ram also. So he gave that assurance. So Sita really felt assured after that. As Hanumanji was planning his return trip, he decided to find out the strengths and weaknesses of Ravana's army, Ravana's intent, Ravana's personality. He wanted to know as much as possible any information that would be helpful to Lord Ram and to Sugriva. So what does he do? The best way to attract attention is to be
caught and face-to-face meeting.
Create mischief. That is the best way to get attention, isn't it? So Hanumanji, he created mischief. Unfortunately for the kingdom of Lanka, his mischief set back the city at least 100 years. Its infrastructure was destroyed. The wonderful places of recreation are completely gone. And under some influence of uncomparable illusion, Ravana decided to set Hanumanji on fire, especially his tail. Like a freak, like someone got crazy. He thought that this is how I can show my power. I'll just set the tail of this messenger on fire. So Hanumanji had just destroyed the infrastructure. Now he melted the complete city and burnt it down to ashes. You've heard about that? Hanumanji is a peace-loving book. He loves. He is very calm and peace-loving. Something happened to him. Maybe his tail is very sensitive, I guess. Something happened. To touch his tail, and Hanumanji decides to burn the entire city. So what did he do? He jumped across the rooftops. And as he was jumping across the rooftops, he was setting every building and its yards on fire. Somehow Hanumanji knew that technique. He knew everything that could burn. And Ravana's fire department wasn't up to the mark. They were not equipped to handle the entire city being under fire. So nothing could be saved. Hanumanji, from a very vantage point, he could see all around him these huge flames rising into the night sky. And he was like, okay, so this is what Lanka is made up of. This is the ramparts of Lanka, that strength. It wouldn't be too difficult for all of us to come over here and, teach our lesson. So he felt very, very satisfied. But then he thought, now I've burned the city. There's nothing else to be done. I've met Ravan, I've met Meghanad, I've met the army of Ravan. I've seen the city too. So let me go back with the information. But how can I fly back with my tail on fire? He didn't feel that was appropriate. Like, if I go back, what will my friends think? They'll think that, oh, maybe Hanuman needs help. And they'll give me a ceremonial bath, I think so. I don't want that. So he decided to douse the fire that his tail was on. So he goes to the ocean shore, and he puts his tail in the water of the ocean, and the fire is doused. Correct? Now he's ready to jump across. He takes one final look at the city. One final look. And it is at that point of time, Hanuman has a seizure. He goes into shock. What did I do? I was so much engrossed jumping across rooftops and seeing everything go up in flames. And the more I was being pestered, I was being, the more the armies of Ravana tried to stop me, and they were shouting at me, the more I was trying to engage them with my action and my words. And I never realized that in this state, I was overcome by anger. And in anger, I set the entire city and all its gardens into flames. And wherever I could not reach, the flames reached. The wind carried the flames right across the entire island. Did I, in my stupidness, my stupidity, did I burn down Ashok Vatika too? And actually, I don't think so there should be any doubt, because I don't see any of the gardens surviving. Everything has been burned down. And in my callousness, carelessness, acting without putting much thought in my actions, I could have burnt the garden in which Sita is there, and maybe did I hurt her too? Has Sita also been burned? How can I go back to Lord Ram? He'll ask me, where is Sita? When I tell him Sita is no more, Lord Ram would give up his life. And if he gives up his life, Lakshman would give up his life. And Ram and Lakshman, if they are no longer conscious, Sugriva, Jambavanta, all the entire army of Vanaras, they would give up their life. Only I would be alive, because I bring them that news. And then I have to carry the news that Ram and Lakshman are no longer alive. I bring it to Ayodhya. And then Bharat also gives us his life. And then Shatrughan also gives up his life. And the mothers that are there, Hanumanji, he went into a very dark place in his thoughts. I mean, he was really over-imagining the consequences. For him, it seemed to be the natural consequences of his actions. But it is, sometimes when you reflect back on certain actions that you're not very proud of or you feel very guilty about, you go down this rabbit hole. And who else but Shri Hanumanji went down that rabbit hole? Ram, Lakshman, and I would be the cause of that. Without being properly thoughtful, I just let go of my passion. Now, as he is feeling very, very guilty about what he has done in terms of having hurt Sita, but Hanumanji is Hanuman. Even if he goes into severe depression, a certain aspect of Hanumanji cannot help but intellectually analyze. His intelligence is so powerful that even if everything seems lost, Hanumanji would find out a way. That is how intelligent he is. So his intelligence kicked in. And because of that, he started analyzing what could be the truth. So in his analysis, or what he was taking into consideration, what could be the truth, what could actually have happened based upon his understanding of what is reality. One is what he could see is reality, but there is the intellect which sometimes can show you a different picture of reality. Yes? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay? For example, water is a liquid. You reduce the temperature of water and slowly it becomes colder, colder, colder. And you expect it to retain its liquidity till the temperature falls down to 0 degrees Celsius. Correct? It's true. That is what the intelligence sees. But what do the eyes see? At 4 degrees Celsius, what happens to water? Starts freezing. So what do the eyes see? That water is starting to freeze at 4 degrees Celsius, 3 degrees Celsius. What is the intelligence seeing? It should not be freezing. So how do you resolve this? Because the intelligence understands that liquids do not freeze until they reach 0 degrees Celsius. That there are certain liquids that have lower freezing points. The general understanding is the freezing point should be 0 degrees Celsius. Right? Water doesn't do that. So then you have to resolve that. So similarly, Hanumanji, his intelligence is telling him something different than what his eyes are seeing. What is his intelligence telling? So we'll have to ask Valmiki Muni. All right, my dear sir Valmiki ji, you tell us, what is Hanumanji's intelligence seeing or understanding? So Valmiki Muni says, Athava charu sarvangi rakshita svena tejasa na shishyate kalyani na agni agnao pravartate. expecting that fire burns everything, right? It does. Fire can scorch all that it is capable of burning. Is it true? But if you want to put out fire, what is the best ingredient to put out fire? Now this is a catch question.
Fire puts out.
Fire can put out fire?
Fight fire with fire usually.
We fight fire with...
It's not usually like
Okay. That's an interesting perspective. Any other answer?
Water.
Water. Does water put out all kinds of fire?
No.
Okay. Then what can put out all kinds of fire?
Fire extinguisher.
Sorry?
Fire extinguisher.
I don't know.
Fire extinguisher.
A fire extinguisher. So fire extinguisher has fire in it or water in it. What does it have? Foam. Foam, isn't it? Foam could be another form of water.
depends on
Droplets.
basically a barrier. Depends
A
on
barrier, yes.
actually is a barrier.
No one has considered the option that fire can be put out by dirt or earth.
Sand buckets.
Why are sand buckets also kept? To extinguish a fire if there is a fire. The sand buckets there. Why? Because electrical fires. You put it out with sand, earth. Hanuman is thinking, who's Sita? Sita is born of earth. How can fire scorch her? In fact, she has the quality of putting out fire. So, this quality of Sita is being addressed as Agnau Pravartate. According to Sankhya philosophy, there are 5 major elements called as the Pancha Mahabhuta in this universe, right? They're called as Jada, Padartha, or they're called as gross matter, correct? Ether is the most subtle of all the 5 elements. Next is air. Now, within air is also the quality of ether. Then the next gross element is fire. Within fire is also the quality of ether and air. But do we see it? No, we just see fire. Then there is water. Within water there is ether, air and fire. Is that correct? True or not true? True. And there is earth. Earth has? So fire element is there in earth, right? So, na Agni Agnav. She is born of Mother Earth. Sita appears from the earth, right? So she is also not different than Bhumi. So already the fire element is not just within her, but it is subdued. So Sita by nature has the quality of subduing fire. This is his logic. So sometimes when you are in a situation where you are in trouble, see if you have a good logical explanation for it. At least it is helping Hanumanji out, right? He's like, okay, this is how Sita is. But he says it is not just that. Sarvangi Rakshita Swatejasa. Just by her potency, she can protect the entire universe. By her potency, the entire universe is cared for. She protects the whole universe. So how could any ordinary fire hurt her? Alright? After that, Hanumanji's his intelligence is trying to convince him that not just that. Nahi dharmat manah tasya bharyam amit tejasa. So she has swatejasa, her own potency, but she is also the wife of Amita Tejas. Somebody who's got unlimited Tejas, unlimited potency. Lord Ram. What kind of potency? Dharma Purusha. So the potency of Dharma, all that is religious, all that is good. The very personification of Dharma. And she is the wife of Dharma. So what does that mean? Now, there is some understanding that when you get married in front of Agni Dev, having Agni Dev as a witness, then the understanding is that the potency of Agni Dev is such that as soon as you take your vows as husband and wife in the presence of Agni Dev, Agni Dev decides to make you equal. The boy and the girl, they become equals. Now that is not possible because we are different based upon our previous fruitive activities. True?
Yes.
Everyone has got their own quota. They have their own account of karmic reactions, karma and karma. So Agni Dev has a potency to have the boy, to make the boy and the girl exchange some of their karma phala. Now this is just a consideration. Can I vouch for it? I have never conducted marriages, nor I have ever been married, so I can only repeat what has been stated. You tell me, is it correct? Those of you who are married.
Don't scare us, Prabhu.
Because unless and until you exchange some karma, how can you become a little, to a certain extent, a prototype of the other person? Like before marriage, I would never eat dosas. Now I started liking dosas. Something like that. What happened? So, our fruitive reactions, they give us a body that could eat dosa or not eat dosa, whatever. But after marriage, I could never ever, I've never taken a cold water bath, but after marriage I can. I thought I'd never survive a cold water bath. The other person says, I've always taken a cold water bath. See, exchange. Certain potencies are exchanged, which means some karma phala has been exchanged. This is the idea. Hence, a wife is called as bharya. What is a wife called as? The wife in traditional Vedic understanding, the wife has better capacity to balance out the karma phalas than the husband. So the wife is called as bharya and the husband is called as bharta. Aluka. Okay, very good. I did not want to say it.
His future forms.
Bharta. Bharta means all that the husband in comparison to the wife is, they do is assist her in her ability to balance out the energies. So ultimately, a very, very shrewd husband knows it's better to always say yes, because then there is some balancing. And I'm not trying to make a joke out of it. Right? Just this statement, all right, let's go home and we'll see what to do. All opinions are put on hold. Once you reach the house, and the lady of the house, she initiates the discussion. Okay, we have these things to get done, these are the resources that we have. And suddenly the man of the house realizes, oh, it's good that, we have to come back home, we had a discussion and we could revisit our opinions. So that is the understanding of Bharya. So the Bharta, the husband, is Dharma Purush. How potent would the Bharya be then? Hence it is said, Bharyam Amit Tejasa. The Bharta, the husband, Dharma Purusha, has unlimited tejas, unlimited potency, and his counterpart, the Bharya. Now already if the husband has got unlimited potency, then what kind of potency would the Bharya have? It would be exponentially unlimited potency, right? Little more potent than unlimited potency. Go and figure that out. What could it mean? So previously, in the previous verse, is thinking that Sita is very potent, but now he's kind of thinking that along with the potency, she also has a potency of Lord Ram. So now she has become unlimitedly potent. 2x times unlimitedly potent. So because of that, how is it possible that an ordinary fire could even touch her? Then Shri Hanumanji is also wondering that did I receive a blessing from Agni Dev that fire would never burn me? I'm not really sure. Maybe I did, maybe I did not. Because I was too young to remember what are the benedictions everyone gave me. Right? What if I was not given 100% protection against all fire? How is it that my tail is not being burned although it is on fire? Not a single hair on my tail, not a millimeter of the skin on my tail is burned. How is that possible? And that is where Hanumanji says that this is definitely by the power of Lord Ram and the benevolence of Sita. Now I may be very powerful, right? Or I may not be, I have a lot of power, I just have a little bit of power. If I don't want to use my power to benefit someone, can I do that? What do you think? If I don't want to use my power, whatever little power I have to help another person, would I be able to do that? Hold back my power and say, no, I don't want to help out? Yes or no?
Yes.
Possible? However, I am extremely merciful. I have some power or I have a lot of power, whatever. Do you think I would ever have the option of saying no to helping out anyone using my power? Because I am extremely merciful. Will that option be available? Can I stop myself from helping another person using my power? What do you think?
No. You can.
How? I'm extremely merciful.
I mean, if the other person is a demon,
I'm extremely merciful. So I can
So with that logic, then every sinner should not be going to hell, right? Any sinner. So Krishna has created a hell to punish for some reason, right? For some people, for some time at least.
Okay.
Otherwise, he would have forgiven everybody anything, whatever anybody does.
Mhm.
Then nobody would have got the karmic reactions.
That makes sense. So you're saying that Krishna is not extremely merciful, then, or because he's extremely merciful, still he cannot stop somebody from going to hell.
No, it's not that he cannot stop.
He would not stop anyone from going to hell.
He will. These are the rules that he has set. That if you do bad, you'll get bad, and it is by his will, of course.
Right.
Yeah. So why will he break that?
So would he have to let his mercy be dormant in that state, or would he let his mercy be totally, would he completely exhibit his mercy at the same time as letting people go to hell, the sinners?
So for devotees, yes, and of course he is sending them to there is an arrangement for that as a hell. Is again it's merciful.
Oh, it's merciful only sending to hell.
It's like.
So it's not bad in one sense. Because it's merciful.
He's giving them a chance to rectify themselves and then give some punishment. And
Form of mercy.
that's
So
what-
if we are thinking that punishment in hell has to be given to the sinners, and Krishna has established a rule, then is it his mercy that he's sending them to hell?
it's like just like a father chastising a child.
So is it
It's
the
mercy,
mercy,
right? Because long-term good.
So can mercy stop one from exhibiting one's power to help out another person?
No.
In this case, yeah, that's the logic.
If it's a devotee, it's a different case. No,
So alright, let us visit the discussion that we are just having. Sending them to hell is like a father punishing a child because that is father. So punishing the child is for the betterment of the child, right? Or is it to hurt the child?
betterment.
So again we are trying to do good, no?
Yeah.
Trying to help them out in the way that they can understand, right?
Mm.
So if you are very merciful, do you have the option of stopping yourself from helping another person?
No.
I would think Krishna is capable of anything. If he wants to stop, he will stop himself. If he wants to do, he will do. He is capable of anything.
Independent, he's saying independently Swaraj.
No,
Swaraj Bol.
So-
independent of what the mercy looks like, he's still being
Like
merciful.
so then Krishna becomes predictive, right? We say that Krishna is merciful, so he will always act
We
this
cannot
way.
predict his mercy, but he's merciful.
So
He is 100%, I agree, but we cannot predict his reaction in any situation. Given that we will say, then we are predicting Krishna's behavior, no?
Yeah.
how so?
So we are saying that Krishna is merciful, so he will always do this. But it is up to him. Whatever he wants to do, he will do.
Did I say that? I just said that if you are merciful, do you have the option? I'm not suggesting that is the only personality trait that you have. I'm saying that I can be merciful or I hold on to my mercy. But when I am merciful, do I have the option of not helping out others? If I decide not to be merciful, which Krishna can decide, again, I'm not saying that Krishna, because he is very merciful, therefore he doesn't, by default, he cannot stop himself from always helping people. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Krishna can do whatever he wants with his mercy. I accept that. Did I make a point like that? I didn't, right? Do we assume that that is what I'm saying? No. What I'm saying is, if I'm merciful, Krishna decides to be merciful. Suddenly he decides that, alright, I'm merciful, I'm in a very good mood, I go to hell, I sound my conch shell, what happens to everyone? Can he stop himself from doing?
No.
Why? Because he's being very merciful there, right? However, if he doesn't want to be very merciful, that's his choice. He can say, all right, the laws that I've established, let the laws work. Isn't it? So again, I go back to my statement. If I'm powerful, can I say no to using my power to help out someone?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm being merciful. I'm not saying I have mercy. I'm saying I'm being merciful. Do I have the option to stop somebody, to stop myself from helping others? Because I'm being merciful.
No.
Yes, I see your point now. Yeah.
Yes?
So if you're talking about only the mercy quality, yes, yeah. He will always.
Always, right? So if I'm merciful and powerful, right now I'm not being merciful, do I have the option to say that I will not use my power to help someone?
Yes.
Now I'm merciful and I'm powerful. I'm being merciful. I'm both the qualities of mercy and power. Now I'm being merciful. I'm not holding on to my mercy. I'm letting it go. Do I have the option where I say I will not use my power to help someone else?
No.
Do I have that option anymore? Or in my mercy, I'm like, okay, I did not realize what I was doing, because I was merciful and let everyone have blessings. Would that happen? What is the nature of mercy? Does mercy distinguish? Once I start exhibiting my mercy, that is why the petition is sent to the president or someone else, final mercy petition. Why is it sent to the president? The president can always strike it down. But if the president says, okay, the power of the president comes into effect. Isn't it? If the president decides not to show the mercy, then the power of the president can be held back. Correct? Make sense? So again, are we on the same page now? We are on the same page? What is this? Our understanding? That a powerful person has always the ability to choose whether to use it for the benefit of somebody else or not use it for the benefit of somebody else. A merciful person does not have that choice. Because that is the nature of mercy, right? What is Hanumanji saying here? Me not being burnt by the fire is by the power of Lord Ram and the benevolence of Sita. So if the mercy is flowing from Sita, can Lord Ram stop himself from protecting Hanuman? Does it make sense? The prayer here, why is he saying that Sita is benevolence personified and Lord Ram is power personified? So actually it is the mercy of Sita that makes Lord Ram relevant, which is actually true according to Vedic philosophy. The Shakti is what makes the Shaktivan relevant. True? It is the energy that makes the energetic relevant. Correct? And therefore the energy and the energetic are not different. That is the absolute truth. Isn't it? Shaktiman Shakti Ekatvam. They are one moiety. Alright, so this is how Hanumanji is analyzing the situation now. Sita, by her own potency, she can protect the entire universe. So hence, an ordinary fire would not be able to burn her. Secondly, Sita is born of earth. Earth is more potent than fire. So how can she be affected by fire itself? Thirdly, Sita is the wife of Lord Ram, Bharya. Lord Ram is Dharma personified with unlimited potency. And since she is the Bharya, she is the wife, her potency as Dharma personified is 2x times at least, minimum. And finally, I am also protected from the fire, although my tail is on fire, not even a millimeter of my skin is burnt. Even I don't feel the heat of this fire. Everything else is burning, not my tail. And this is by the power of Lord Ram and the benevolence of Sita. Okay? So Hanumanji does not even make a trip back to Ashok Vatika to confirm, is Sita safe? He's completely convinced, because if he makes a trip back to Ashok Vatika to find out if Sita is safe, then that would show that his faith is
Not 100%.
not complete, is lacking. So he continues on his trip. The point that we want to meditate on is, how does the Supreme Lord find a way to give us conviction, to make us feel relief or relieved? It is as if he very well knows how to be a good well-wisher. Hanumanji was really in a very, very desperate situation, because he hadn't thought out the consequences of his action. And because he hadn't thought out the consequences of his action, he was very much concerned. In fact, he had started wondering whether by his actions he had caused harm to Mother Sita. So it is not just philosophy that helps us. Philosophy is a manifestation. Siddhant is a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is Krishna's quality. Krishna is always looking out for us, always helping us find a way to resolve conflicts in our life and do service with renewed vigor, with complete faith. Krishna always finds a way to help us out. Where can we find such unlimited assurance in our life? Not only is it unlimited, eternally existing assurance, it is meaningful assurance. Can anyone else give us assurance that could be meaningful in all situations? So Lord Ram gives assurance in terms of sending the people and they finding Sita. In fact, Lord Ram hands over his ring to Hanumanji. I mean, was it just his whim? Was Ram, was he very intuitive? When he handed over the ring to Hanumanji, how do you think Hanumanji felt? Everyone was very eager to find Sita. No one felt that, oh, why did I not get the ring by Hanumanji? In fact, others were like a little more reassured that, oh, if the ring would have been given to us, it would be extra pressure. Isn't it true? So everyone has certain responsibility, and then one particular person is made to stand out, especially you. And if it's a big responsibility and there's huge stakes, I mean, things could go really wrong. And then that person was singled out. Can you imagine the amount of pressure that will be on that person? Now it is very nice that we can say, Lord Ram, he trusted Hanumanji the most. All of that is good. It is in retrospect now. But at that moment, Lord Ram handed over the ring and said, if you meet Sita, when you meet Sita, she would need assurance that you have a connection with me. So show her this ring and also tell her about a particular incident that only I and she are aware of. And she will trust you as much as she trusts me. She'll consider you to be non-different from me in the sense you are my true messenger. So it will be a message coming directly from me as if I personally am giving a message to her. True? Correct? This person has to go back and tell Lord Ram, I burned everything down without even thinking that Sita is safe or not.
I would have gone and checked, Prabhu. It was faster than so much confusion.
Maybe he was afraid to go and find out and see what if actually sure.
And then having to go without checking is even worse. Might as well check Pratyaksha Praman and then I can go. What if I get confused after going back?
And what if it turns out to be the worst? Can one go back?
That would be more courage to go
More than, yes, he convinced himself and gone back.
It was much better than actually.
So Krishna, he sees that we create situations for ourselves where we kind of find ways to hurt ourselves. But he always has a helpline open for us. Always. And the help that he provides is really very, very meaningful. Very meaningful. This is Krishna's quality. Hence when Krishna says, like we may assure somebody else that, I'm your father, or I'm like your father, I'm your mother, or I'm just like your mother. It's only for the moment that we are with them. Once we are busy with some other activities, we forget that, we have the responsibility of being a father, or like a father, or a mother, or like a mother, or guardian, something like that. But that is not how Krishna is. Hence when he says, Pitaham yasya jagatu,
Mata Data Pitama.
when he makes that statement, he actually means it for all times to come, in all circumstances. He never ever forgets, I was so busy, I completely forgot that I had assured you that I am your father. It happens with us, but not with Krishna. And how did he help Hanumanji here? By his intellect, finding ways to be assured that it is not possible for Sita to be hurt. Hanumanji could not just figure out how by his own potency he had his tail not being burned by the fire. He couldn't just figure that out. So it had to be either Lord Ram or someone else. Now Lord Ram is far away. So how would Lord Ram from so far away give his protection, his mercy? Who's the mercy? Sita. Who's the mercy form of Lord Ram? Sita. So is Lord Ram protecting me? He's like, maybe. But if he's caught up in his own work, is it someone else then that is looking out for me? Because Lord Ram is just thinking constantly of Sita, where is Sita, where is Sita, where is Sita. So is there someone else that could be doing that? It has to be Sita. So since Sita has protected me, and she has protected me from this huge fire, it is not possible that a fire created by me, or a fire that has been spread by me, could hurt her, could ever hurt her. Alright? So Krishna is our eternal well-wisher. Now there is another incident that we will describe from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He appears here, goes through his childhood years, boyhood years, young man, takes sannyas. So after he takes sannyas, he has to travel from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, from Navadvip, Bengal to Jagannath Puri, Odisha. So when he begins his travel, the first stop, as he's walking towards Orissa, the first stop where he stops to rest is at a place called as Kurma Kshetra. There he spends time with a local resident called the Kurma Brahma. Spends the night with him, the evening and night with him, and the next morning he is leaving the place. Now Lord Chaitanya has reached Kurma Kshetra during the daytime. So he goes to see the temple of the Lord and he has darshan of Lord Kurmadev, and then he cannot help but start dancing and chanting. So as he started dancing and chanting, people got attracted to him. Those who got attracted to him, they sent message to others who also flocked into the temple. So a huge crowd was aware that a beautiful sannyasi is so lovingly and devotionally chanting and dancing in the temple. So now in the evening, the Kurma Brahman has invited Lord Chaitanya to his house. Everyone else has gone home. The next morning, Lord Chaitanya takes his leave of the Kurma Brahman. And the Kurma Brahman says, "My dear Lord, I would also like to accompany you." So the Lord says, "All right." And after walking a short distance, he says, "All right, now your desire is fulfilled. Now you have to go back to your house, take care of your family, and constantly chant the Lord's holy names. And in this way, you and I will always be associated with each other through the chanting of the holy name." So he convinces him to stay back, and the Lord moves away. When he is lost to sight, he has gone away. Another gentleman, he had spent the entire night trying to come to the house of Kurma Brahman. He was a little handicapped, disabled. The reason being, his body from the top of the head right up to his feet was afflicted with leprosy. Like severely infected, painful wounds. So it took him some time to come to the house of the Kurma Brahman. His name was Vasudeva. So when he comes to meet the Kurma Brahman, the Kurma Brahman welcomes him and says, he knows Vasudeva. He knows Vasudeva is a very, very gentle person. He knows that he is very, very devotional at heart. He welcomes him from a distance. Vasudeva also keeps his distance. Vasudeva says, "I've come here to see the beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya, and if possible, take his blessings." Obviously, from a distance. The Kurma Brahman says, "Oh, I'm so unfortunate. The Lord has left me." Vasudeva says, "He's gone? He's already left this place?" He says, "Yes." So Vasudeva feels this intense, he has this intense desire within the heart that, "My dear Lord, please, please, please let me have the vision of your form." And somehow or the other, his intense desire seemingly manifests such that Lord Chaitanya is back. Lord Chaitanya is back to the house of Kurma Brahman, to that village, and he's right there in front of Vasudev. And Vasudev is so happy. This is just beyond his dreams. He was not able to even welcome the Lord with sweet words because his happiness it went beyond all bounds. So he fell down to offer obeisances to the Lord. And without his knowledge, Lord Chaitanya walked up to him. He did not realize Lord Chaitanya walked up to him. Lord Chaitanya took hold of him. His body, leprosy in those days, even today, it is contagious. It is a really seriously contagious disease. It spreads by touch. Okay? So Lord Chaitanya lifts him up and embraces him. And when Vasudeva realizes that Lord Chaitanya is embracing him, he becomes very agitated. So in his mind he is very agitated that why did I even desire for the Lord to come here? Because now the Lord is embracing me and I may contaminate the Lord. So he's feeling that this is not good. So Lord Chaitanya understands his agitation, he understands how his mind is agitated, and he understands the intent, how he is feeling very bad. That Lord Chaitanya, he is in Lord Chaitanya's embrace and his infected, his wound-covered body, which is completely infested with septic matter, with germs, and there were actually maggots too living in some of his wounds. He just was living with them, coexisting with them. He was thinking that this body belongs to me as much as it belongs to these maggots. So why should I throw them away? Let them feast on this body. So when Lord Chaitanya understood that he was feeling very bad about how he is contaminating the beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya, in his embrace, Lord Chaitanya blessed him, and suddenly his wound-infested body transformed into perfectly effulgent, healthy body. Totally healthy, very effulgent body. Now the Kurma Brahmana saw this wonderful miracle of Lord Chaitanya. Vasudeva himself was the beneficiary of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. He became the personified form of Lord Chaitanya's miracle. With folded hands, he started praying to Lord Chaitanya. My dear Lord, now that I have a very, very healthy body and a beautiful healthy body, I may become proud. And becoming proud, I may forget you. So please take back this blessing that you have given me and return back my infected body. So again, we find that when Lord Chaitanya has blessed his devotee, the devotee has received the Lord's grace. The devotee is very graceful in accepting that blessing. But then the devotee has concern. The devotee's concern is, Vasudev's concern is, what if I become proud? And what does Lord Chaitanya tell Vasudeva? He says, Prabhu kahe kabho tomar na habe abhiman. The Lord says, you will never ever be troubled by abhiman, false pride. Another blessing. Now already he was blessed to have a good body. So shouldn't that be enough? But a devotee may feel uncomfortable with a certain situation. Again, I would like to repeat. Sometimes we have this ability to put ourselves into situations where we feel insecure. Now Hanumanji is protected, his tail is not burning. But what is insecurity? Did my carelessness burn Sita? His concern. Vasudev has been blessed by Lord Chaitanya to have a good body. So with a good healthy body, now he should very nicely sit down and chant Hare Krishna. He doesn't have to worry about his wounds anymore. Correct? He doesn't have to think twice about interacting with people and how people have to stay away from him. It becomes easy. But then, what is he thinking about? What if I become proud of having a healthy body, which is by the blessings of Lord Chaitanya? What if I start thinking that I am so fortunate, Lord Chaitanya blessed me, nobody else? What about that? So there is always a possibility that we can put ourselves in situations where we feel insecure.
Is it similar to Kunti's prayers?
Yes,
When he's about to leave, she feels the same way.
quite possible. Quite possible. There's so many ways. So Kunti Maharani feeling that if Krishna leaves, then I will be bereft of Krishna's service. And in his physical presence, I can serve Krishna, so maybe I'll be bereft of that. So there are ways that devotees come up with different, understandings. They have these thoughts that what if this happens, then how can I be secure in Krishna's service? So they start feeling insecure. Does Krishna chastise them? Does Krishna tell them, how much do I have to pamper you? I find out one solution that should help you and you come up with another problem. Is it true or no? Body infested with wounds, Krishna gives him, and by his touch. If Krishna can turn a wound infested and infected body into a healthy body, wouldn't Krishna similarly have the ability that by that very touch, he can transform an infected heart into a pure heart? So, is that Krishna has only transformed the body and not the consciousness? Quite possible. Both could have happened. Right? It's quite possible. Or maybe just Krishna transformed the body and said, your heart, you have to take care of your consciousness. That you have to prove yourself. Who knows? But just as he can, without our asking, transform our unhealthy body into a healthy body, he can also transform our heart from the negative place that it is in, from the dark place that the heart is in, into a pure state of consciousness. Correct? However, our nature is that certain circumstances in this material world can make us feel insecure. I'm not saying that is bad. I'm not saying that is stupid. What I'm saying is, it happens. And what does the Supreme Lord do? Convinces us through philosophy. Here Lord Chaitanya, now you can tell somebody that your body, now I have given you a very good, healthy body. Right now there are no wounds and please take care of it. I assure you that this body will stay healthy for quite some time. Now, if Krishna tells us that I have purified your consciousness and it is going to stay healthy for quite some time, how do we even visualize that? Because it is so subtle. So it is very much possible that we can feel insecure about certain situations. We just receive a blessing and after that we can feel insecure about something else. As long as it is connected to how we are wanting to only serve Krishna, it is all right. But when there is insecurity, Krishna has to work overtime, isn't it? And that is what he is doing here. He is working overtime. Which again goes to prove that Krishna is a very, very wonderful well-wisher. The best well-wisher that anyone could ever think of or imagine. Who's Krishna? When we say Krishna, Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. That is how we are addressing Krishna. Okay? So, Prabhu kahe kabhu tumhara na hobe abhimana. Then it says, Nirantara kaho tumi Krishna Krishna. He says, okay, you'll never ever be infected with false pride. I assure you of that. However, if you want to be assured in your mind, that is in brackets. Krishna is not saying that my potency will not work without you chanting. He doesn't say that. But he says that, I will tell you that, okay, you never have a Viman, then you will come up with another problem. What if I have a Viman? No, what if something happens? What if we need reassurances? So Krishna says, all right, false pride, kabhu na have abhimana, and then he tells us, now you should stop focusing on your insecurities. Focus on rendering positive service. Alright? Nirantara kaha tumi Krishna Krishna Nam. Always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Incessant chanting. But we love to be pampered. Isn't it? Amongst our beautiful congregation, don't we love to go to those programs, those houses, those events where there is extra pampering? If a certain Maharaj really pampers us, we drop down everything, and if a certain Guruji pampers someone else more than us, we are like, okay, what is the use even if I don't do? Like, maybe next time. We like to be pampered. Correct? Who knows that better than anyone else? So Krishna says, Nirantar kahatumi Krishna Krishna Nama. But Krishna is wondering if that is enough. Or would we need a little more engagement? So that we become very optimistic. Our mind is completely engaged in variety of activities. We have choices in life. So Nirantar Krishna Nama, incessant chanting. And then Krishna says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna Upadeshi Kara Jivera Nistar. You should also tell others about Krishna. Right? So when you tell others about Krishna, it may give you a sense of fulfillment. When you only chant Hare Krishna, you may or may not find fulfillment. Why? Because when you chant Hare Krishna, you'll always wonder, is my chanting enough? Or do I need some more mercy? But as soon as you give Krishna to others, somehow or the other there is an assurance because you've heard so much of philosophy and you've understood or read so much of philosophy, you're like, even I'm disqualified. If the person to whom I have given Krishna Naam, if that person becomes a pure devotee and prays for me, I'll be saved. So you see, you got assurance there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you incessantly chant Krishna Naam and Krishna Upadeshi Kara Jivera Nistar. Help other living entities also find salvation by giving them the message of Krishna or giving them the holy names. So Krishna Upadeshi Kara Jivera Nistar Achirate Krishna Toma Kori Vinam Gokaro. And rest assured that Krishna will personally take you in his embrace. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is kind of giving us a very, very complete formula of feeling totally reassured, and it is very meaningful for us. It has a lot of meaning for us. What is that? Chant Hare Krishna and tell others about Krishna's holy names. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any other comments? It is nice to have some discussion middle of the presentation, isn't it? Devotees here are very much used to it. Not many places are as alike as here. Yes.
Prabhu, this example of Vasudeva Vipra is applicable to everybody, right? I mean, in the sense that Vasudeva Vipra we know by otherwise also was a very great devotee. He was extremely merciful even to the worms and germs on his body, and we know a background of his personality and nature. And so his devotion was truly attractive to Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that sense, because he was at that level of devotion. Now, for example, if we in general, we are very merciful, we are very grateful to the mercy we receive from Krishna for the services we are performing. And somewhere we get into the Ahankar mode, but if we remember this Upadesh of Mahaprabhu, that, you go on chanting, I will take care of you, will that apply to us as well? Because we are not at, right now, we are not at that level of devotion where Vasudeva Vipra is. So we are kind of Adha Puda, idhar udhar, dono jagah pair. So we are trying to do our mercy, and we recognize the mercy which we are getting, because we are able to serve so many things and we are engaged, and so we recognize this is only purely out of mercy that we are able to do. So that mercy which we get also gives us that ahankara, that Arey, Krishna is helping me or giving me that mercy. So it gives us pride. It comes, it goes, it comes and goes, but it is there. So if I relate this, if I keep on relating this story to myself, saying that if I just go on chanting Krishna's name and doing Krishna Prachar, this solution is also for me.
Oh, you're asking me the question?
Yeah.
I think you already answered the question. Isn't it?
It will drive,
Seems to be like that. Okay? How about the Kurma Brahman? I also mentioned about the Kurma Brahman, but our focus is kind of a little more just on Vasudeva Vipra.
Kurma didn't get any hurt.
He spent an entire night.
We don't know.
So what are we going to have a hierarchy of mercy here? He had prasad at Kurma Brahman's place, and he so but in Kurma Brahmana's case, there's nothing for us to work on. It's all very straightforward. It's not very complicated. But Vasudeva Vipra, it seems like, oh, this is good. This is a good case study. Alright? So if you look at the Kurma Brahman, obviously, I had a certain, let us say, agenda in my presentation. Hence I presented this event from that, through that lens, Google lens, that lens. However, let us consider this proposition that I somehow or the other find a way to become proud of a blessing that I have received from Krishna. I find a way to become proud of it, which is called as false pride. One can always honor that. One can always feel very much grateful and honor Krishna for showering His blessing upon us. But there can be false pride arising too. So that does happen, and then Krishna here through the example given of the event in Vasudeva Vipra's life, the process of chanting Hare Krishna and talking to others about Krishna could be helpful, and we could see that as Krishna's protection. Correct? The proposition that I would like to put forth now about Krishna's protection is this. If we are always confident of Krishna's protection, if you are very confident of Krishna's protection, then when Krishna gives us mercy, is there a possibility that we can just see that, oh, a king may want to be charitable towards anyone that he wants to be, whether the person is qualified or not qualified. It's the king's desire. So if Krishna wants to be merciful towards me and wants to give me a blessing, that is Krishna's desire. I simply serve. However, I am totally convinced that Krishna's protection is always with me. Even if it appears that right now everything is going good, it is because Krishna is protecting me. Is that also a proposition that we can consider?
This idea of ahankar comes from comparison, right? Oh, Krishna's giving me mercy because you didn't get it. It's a comparison that brings that in.
That is one of the ways it can happen, comparison. Or it could just be that I am the chosen one.
Still, but I'm chosen among others, right?
Even if there is
Comparative chosen.
no one there, I could be the only person, still I could feel that I am the chosen one. Amongst the plants, amongst the non-living things, I am the only living thing. Answer. Yes, you had something to say.
Yes, it's
Yes.
So I just remember there is a prayer by Lord Brahma when Lord Krishna actually is Vishnu in the form of Vishnu. I think he gives power to Brahma for creation. And that time Lord Brahma's prayers, one of the prayers he says that please bless me so that I don't become proud because you have empowered me so much for this big creation. And I don't remember what Krishna says, but I think Krishna shakes hand with Lord Brahma. That's what the Vaishnavi Prabhu always mentioned that we are going to, one day she can shake hand with Krishna. But here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling you will not have pride and you will chant Krishna's names. So such a nice blessing. I was trying to remember, I don't know what Vishnu said to Lord Brahma after that. If you recall that.
Oh, that's some homework. Very simple. It's something along these lines only, that protection is there and engage yourself in service.
Prabhu, we usually instructed or giving guidance that the moment you're doing a service and you're doing it very well, the moment the ahankar comes into the service, you'll end up losing the service or losing the benefit of the service. Krishna has a way of I've noticed it always has a way of protecting itself. The moment you go a little too high, you're always reminded that we need to get back down. Something or other always happens. So is that not a natural mechanism for most devotees? The fear is good, but usually it doesn't happen that way. Somebody gets so carried away with the blessing that they forget why they got it in the first place.
That is very true. It is an experience that a lot of us could have had in our lives, isn't it?
Yeah. it's very reassuring, that balancing act.
Yes.
That he's watching. Vidana, go back and do a better job.
That's so true. So what exactly, how do we define these blessings that have so much impact on our lives? What do we consider to be blessings? Like anything specific that we can
Anything that
become
keeps us
proud
on
of?
track, right? Anything that
Like for example, what could be a blessing that
will give us elements.
No, we'll relieve
That-
another.
has made us
Oh, like for
Proud.
example, yeah,
Has
like
made
for
us
example,
proud.
if you feel you're doing a very good job, you're able to go and do a lot of books, and you have this time, and everything's working out, you're doing really well, numbers are great, and then you think, see, I contributed to the episode. I did such a lot of work. And then your office calls up and says, sorry boss, we need you. You don't have this kind of time anymore, and you lose the opportunity to do the service that was happening so easily for you before. And then you realize nothing stays forever. We should not have that attitude.
So Krishna kind of makes us realize that we could lose
we,
the
we
blessing,
accept that as a
or we
wake up
accept
call
it as a
rather
wake up
than
call, which is a blessing.
Yeah, in that way.
So if somebody is in the external world, would such experiences happen to those who are not in God consciousness, not just Krishna consciousness, but God consciousness? A wake up call, could that happen to
Yes.
just an
Calls
ordinary
can
person?
happen to anybody.
So is that also Krishna, or
What are they waking up to is the question.
so how is it different from what they go through?
Because the wake up call always brings us back to our
Yes,
Krishna
so
consciousness.
if we were not Krishna conscious, like the person who's not God conscious, if they are also getting their wake up calls, so how is it any different? What is making this blessing so special with respect to the blessing that that person is getting?
Well, that wake up call usually is to help a person balance their life better.
Whichever way.
An imbalanced life balances out.
Yes.
So this is more to balance our service.
Okay.
So it stays in our mode of Krishna consciousness.
So service or distributing books?
Whatever we do.
Some specific. The thing is that many times we confuse blessings on the material platform to be the real blessings of Krishna.
Right.
And that could be a challenge. So hence I was trying to take this discussion deeper or analyze it
We are
more.
told to accept these challenges as blessings because they always bring us back. If we accept them as a blessing, we approach them with the right attitude, so challenge becomes enabling rather than disabling.
Okay. Maybe that is what we
That's as far as
what
I
we
go.
need in our life. Isn't it? That is what we
Yes.
need in our life.
That goes.
Is it good enough for us to consider it to be special in terms of, let us say, becoming more Krishna conscious?
Is it good enough for us to say, hey, maybe?
Then shouldn't such a realization also come to somebody who's not in God consciousness? Some of them may have a realization like that. Like yesterday we were discussing, some people, suddenly realize who's in control.
Yes.
But a lot of them may not have that realization. So how is it different? We may look at it as Krishna doing it.
They will not.
They may not. From the external point of view, both of us are in the same space. It is just that because of our faith, we want to accept it as it is. We want to. Like
Yes,
it's not
we
Krishna.
choose to accept it as his person. It's our approach to that challenge.
Correct. That is true. That we choose to accept it because we consider Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead based upon our understanding of the philosophy that we are in. Okay? How if Krishna were what if Krishna were to give his blessings in the Assamese language? just asking. If we could not understand the blessings, the language of the blessings that are there.
It's still there, but we
So that is happening.
recognize it.
So that is happening with the others.
Yes.
Now, is Krishna? Is it what we accept in faith that this is the language that Krishna is speaking, or actually is Krishna speaking like that?
That's a question everybody asks. It's a standard question in most lectures.
So it is helpful that we believe,
Yes.
but when we do we have
I don't think.
the question is do we?
I don't think he lets you know. Okay.
No, he can let us know. That is when he lets us know. Are we capable of understanding that he is letting us know? So can we claim that our understanding that this is Krishna's blessings is actually Krishna's blessings, or can we just say that according to my faith, I accept this to be Krishna's blessings, so that I can again focus on service?
Second one. That's how we approach it.
What could be the difference between the two approaches?
To know and not to know, right? One I take on faith, the other I'm aware.
Yes,
My awareness is very limited, so I take it on faith.
correct. When I take it on faith, I know it is my faith is limited by my own perception of what faith is.
Yes.
However, if I take it to be Krishna's blessings, then I could actually feel that I'm the chosen.
Prabhu, I'm grateful I'm not that convoluted in my thinking. I'm loving enough to stay on a limited track. I don't get very. I always thought that Hanuman is a very simple, straight thinker in my mind before today.
Yes.
What is this thing? He just thinks of Ram, there's only Ram, there's always Ram. Cheen ke dikha to bhi Ram hi hai. For him, it's all very strict. Today I've seen a different version of Hanuman.
But it is in Valmiki Ramayana.
Yeah, no, I'm saying. So today it was very, very interesting to see a different phase. And I'm like, Hanuman, why are you so confused? You know, why are you overthinking this so much? Okay. So
Because he's wondering what is the
it was
consequences.
very
of
nice
it.
to see that
Yeah.
flavor.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Alright. So the conclusion is meaningful assurance is always given by Krishna according to our needs. That is our faith. Now there you can say that I choose to be faithful in this way,
Yes.
which is our adhikar, which is our right.
Radhika. Okay.
Now Krishna will, according to his sweet desire, let us know how good we are doing when it is time for us. But we will continue on with our faith because Krishna has given me a choice to do that and I choose to be like that.
So if someone says, it's because of your own choice, you don't really know if Krishna is giving or not, what is our answer as a devotee? That it is my adhikar to choose that.
It is my adhikar to choose and it is corroborated by the scriptures.
Yes.
So I'm not just whimsically, trying to push my agenda. I'm just trying to see whether I could live according to the scriptures.
Sometimes we tell people, because I'm a devotee and this is my way of life and this is how Krishna guides devotees. And when you think you're really a devotee? And it
This
goes
is how
like-
Krishna likes devotees, it's based on what?
So you think you're a devotee whom Krishna is guiding?
So
And
when I express my choice that I am a devotee and I want to serve Krishna, that is my choice. But when I make a statement that this is how Krishna likes devotees to be,
then I do.
and I'm not expressing my choice, I'm expressing it as axiomatic truth. And I am the person who understands the axiomatic truth. So I can always say that I'm trying to live by the scriptures. This is my understanding of the scriptures, this is the Vaishnava understanding of the scriptures, and I'm trying to live by the scriptures. Isn't it so? Okay? Anything else? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki